What we are seeing right now, again, in Minneapolis, with the protests happening there as well, is people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're sick and tired of what they're seeing, these heavy duty tactics used against American citizens. And when you have the federal government, led by Ice Barbie Kristi Noem, literally defending these actions, it goes to show you how shameful this administration is. And so we have been covering these various things. And this is what she actually had to say about Americans and their proof of citizenship. Listen to this.
In every situation, we're doing targeted enforcement. If we are on a target and doing an operation, there may be individuals surrounding that criminal that we may be asking who they are and why they're there and having them validate their identity. That's what we've always done, and asking people who they are so that we know who's in those surroundings. And if they are breaking our federal laws, we will detain them as well until we run that process.
Folks, joining us right now from North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina, is immigration attorney Yesenia Polanco. Glad to have you on the show, Ms. Polanco. Let's be clear here. What we are witnessing by ICE, what we are witnessing with their actions is beyond shameful. The treatment of American citizens, the people who have their paperwork, they don't care. I saw, before I came on the air, I saw a story where they threw tear gas into the car of an African American family, and the baby stopped breathing. Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, they have allowed these people to unleash their level of hate against the American people, also against undocumented workers.
Thank you, Mr. Roland, Roland. Thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity to speak and for shedding light on this very important issue. First of all, we do not live in a police state. We live in a free country where we have protected rights by our Constitution to walk freely in our streets. There are limits as to identifying ourselves in a vehicle, in a public setting, in a public building. But walking in the street, not only do we have the freedom to walk freely in the street without identifying ourselves, without having to prove our citizenship, we also have the right to protest and the right to assembly, and we have the right to ask authorities to identify themselves. So let's just start there.
So
Did
again,
I
for the
freeze or
people
are we
out
still live?
there who don't know, we've always talked about know your rights. What exact? We actually still live. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
You can hear me, correct?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so just understand, we have a delay. So we have a delay. So we just work through that. Um, this is where we are. They are accosting people, making demands of them when it comes to their ID, snatching people out of cars. So let people know what are their actual rights if they are approached by someone from ICE or Border Patrol.
Absolutely. First of all, you have the right to remain silent. Our Constitution gives us all the protection and the right to remain silent. You also have the right to ask whether or not you're detained. We have to understand again that we do not live in a police state. We have the right to freely walk around in this country. And unless ICE has a judicial warrant, a warrant to detain or stop or arrest an individual, the individual has the freedom to walk away. So everyone enjoys these freedoms. Everyone enjoys them, whether you're a US citizen or not, whether it doesn't matter the color of your skin or the country that you are from, or whether you are a US citizen by birth or by nationality. What's important is for you to remember that you have the right to remain silent, to not have to identify your citizenship, and to ask whether or not you are detained. If you are detained by any authority, whether it's ICE or a local authority, then you have the right to a lawyer. You have the right for your lawyer to be present if you are going to be questioned further.
if there's someone, if there's someone, so let's say ICE or Border Patrol approaches someone, and we've seen these videos. Are you from here? I hear your accent. And if that person is a legal resident, what should their response be? Because we are seeing ICE agents and Border Patrol agents literally demand people's IDs or passport on the spot. Can they make those demands? And can they make those demands of people who are here legally? And do we have to hand them our ID and our passport?
So glad you asked that question and put it in that immigrant. And we have to make sure that we identify whether the individual is a U.S. citizen, birthright, or naturalization, or whether we're talking about someone who is an immigrant who has a green card or temporary protective status. I want all U.S. citizens to know that they do not have to prove their citizenship. U.S. citizens do not have to prove their citizenship. They also don't have to prove their identity unless they are driving and there is reasonable articulate suspicion that they have that gives the officer a reason to stop a vehicle. So we have to maintain that understanding and protect that right. Some non-US citizens, some immigrants do have to show proof of their identity and proof of their status, including proof of their lawful permanent residency status or temporary protective status. Those individuals know who they are. And historically, what we've seen in the last year is that they have been able to show proof of their identity. And a lot of individuals have still been detained, even if they have shown proof of their lawful permanent resident status. So we have to make sure that we distinguish a U.S. citizen versus an immigrant. And depending on their status, they know that they have to show proof of their identity and of their status. And they are showing proof of their identity and their status.
All right, Attorney Polanco, we certainly appreciate you joining us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.